right, punters, we're back. I've got a pre-race review of Attrition's 8th start in the Feehan Stakes tomorrow at Moonee Valley. The Feehan Stakes is a 1,600 metre race, Group 2, and winner gets a golden ticket into the Cox Plate. So that's horse racing, apparently. You can go from having a horse racing at Kerrang, and the next week you're trying to get a golden ticket into the Australia's biggest race, most famous race, the Cox Plate, the Race of Champions. Unbelievable. It would be unbelievable to get a berth in that race and to run in that race alone. So, yeah, really exciting. Good to see Attrition back at the races. We give him 3 weeks between runs off that really fast run race behind Mr. Brightside at Caulfield, just to make sure that he was over it. Obviously, a 4-year-old, still very early in his racing career. So, was really good to see Mr. Brightside follow up last week in the Memsey. Had a massive run and was able to win that race fairly impressively. So maybe we're not too far off the best horses in the land. We only got beat by a couple of lengths to Mr. Brightside, and we crossed the line with a few of the horses in this race. So the big dangers for me in this race are Tuvalu and Pinstriped, coming out of the same form line as us. And the main one is a horse called Globe. So can't really get a read on Globe. Big hype horse. Ran some really quick times in the off-season, and they freshened him, bringing him back on a Cox Plate path. So, yeah, really concerned about that horse. I'm not 100% sure where his ceiling is, and everyone's keen to see him run tomorrow, and I hope he doesn't blow us away. We've drawn barrier 8. We've got Ben Mallam on board again, which is a big tick for me. We've drawn inside Tuvalu, Pinstripe and Globe. I think a couple of them will want to go to the front, so they'll have to do a little bit of work early. The big concern for me is the speed map. Drawn 8. It's a little bit of an awkward gate. If we don't show intent from the barrier, I'm a bit worried we could get stuck behind some of the horses on the inside, and then a lot of the speed from the outside will push up and take the top and lead the race up, and we could be shuffled a fair way back in the field. Obviously, Moonee Valley, always the concern. You don't want to be too far back off the pace because there's not really much of a straight. If you don't really make ground on that corner, there's not a lot of time to wrap the race up. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he deals with Moonee Valley. I wouldn't have thought he'd be a Moonee Valley horse, but if you want to run in a Cox Plate, then you have to be a Moonee Valley horse. It'll be good to see him show some intent and try and take a seat closer to the pace tomorrow. Hopefully they go relatively quick, and he's still there chugging along on the line when some of the other ones have dropped off. So, yeah, really, really excited to see Attrition back tomorrow, and hopefully I'm following up with a winners kind of review. We're well overdue for some prize money with this bloke because the last race that he won was a benchmark 64 at Geelong. So, it'd be really nice to get stuck into some prize money sometime soon so we could buy another yearling. Oh my God, I'm going to vomit.
Set for the Feehan, and they're racing. Globe towards the outside, one of the best to begin with Attrition and also Pounding. Sava2 Excel is sweeping across the face of the field and will lead. Tuvalu is going to follow it over and will sit in the breeze. So as they head to the bottom corner, 12.50 out, Sava2 Excel led easily from Globe, and then came Tuvalu, who got some cover. Deny Knowledge pushes on, then Pounding Attrition and Goldman deeper. 2 lengths Pinstripe, Forgot You, El Bodegon, Lunar Flare. Towards the back, Alaskan God and Virtuous Circle is last. Sava2 Excel 1,000 metres to go by 3/4 Deny Knowledge. Globe has got the box seat, a length and a half to Tuvalu. A length Goldman, Pounding Attrition, and then came Pinstripe, Forgot You, El Bodegon. Lunar Flare is third last, and then came Alaskan God, and Virtuous Circle is last of all. Deny Knowledge puts the foot down on the outside of Sava2 Excel, and they run this bit pretty hard at the 650, 2.5 lengths to Globe. Tuvalu has slid up on the outside of the favourite and run on by it for now. They were followed by Goldman. Pinstriped is out deeper than Attrition. Pounding trying to extricate off the fence. I think Globe's under enormous pressure
Come
here.
on, big boy!
UL Bodegon, Deny Knowledge went to the front.
Come on, big boy!
Meters to go, but Tuvalu now shades it. Pinstriped is right there. Under pressure, Sava2 Excel boxes on. Then came Attrition. Tuvalu and Pinstripe off the track at the Tuvalu and Pinstripe on then Attrition. Pinstriped up to Tuvalu. Pinstripe wins from Attrition. Tuvalu Pounding. Then Alaskan God, what a run.
2 seconds. I'm going down. I'm going down. Again.
All right, punters, we're back. I've got a post-race review of Attrition's 8th start in the Feehan Stakes at Moonee Valley. Attrition jumped from the gate really well, and Ben Mallam showed intent early, try and hunt him up on the inside pack to try and take a prominent position in the race before some of the speed from outside came across and tried to take up some of the leads. So thought he settled in a really good position, probably 3 or 4 pairs back the outside, and kind of we were able to switch him off early and conserve his energy. And then in the mid-race, once the race kind of settled down, we got on the back of Tuvalu, which I thought was probably one of the better chances in the race of winning. So I was really happy with that position in running, just biding our time on the back of Tuvalu. And then as we rounded the corner, I just thought that Tuvalu didn't quite take us into the race as far as what we wanted to, and he had to get off the back of Tuvalu, and then Pinstripe had already made his run on the outside of Tuvalu, so he kind of had to come around the back of both of them, which kind of took away some of his momentum. Then once he got into the middle of the track and straightened, he kind of let down, as we know that he can, and as he did in his 3-year-old year. He hit the middle of the track and got some clear air and just started storming home down the outside. So it was very exciting. I thought for a second he was going to get there. He was absolutely chewing the ground up. But just on the line, just ran out of track. So he got beat by 0.1 of a length to Pinstriped. But overall, yeah, I was really wrapped with the run. We wanted to see that the horse had kind of come back, and he still had that turn of foot. And yeah, really, really happy to see that on the weekend. So a lot of positives to come out of it. I think the logical step is to go on to the 1,800 metre Underwood Stakes, which is a Group 1 next start at Caulfield. I think the horse is probably a 2,000 metre horse long term, and he's still got a lot of development to come. He's only had 8 starts now. He's an early season 4-year-old, and we think he'll do a lot of growing in his time off between the spring and autumn. So the biggest positive for me, and the thing that I'm wrapped about, is that, you know, it looks like we could have a genuine 2,000 metre weight for age horse, you know, at least for the next couple of years. So when you're buying horses like we are, and, you know, all we want to do is just go the races and be there on the big days, this horse has just been absolutely life-changing for us. You know, we've already been to the races, you know, 2 or 3 times, challenging for feature races on the day. And, you know, I just desperately want to hold on to that and be able to do it for the next couple of years. So the big tick for me is, obviously it looks like he could challenge at a weight for age level for a couple of years to come. So really exciting. Post race, I was really happy with the ride from Ben Mallam. I thought he rode the horse fantastic, and I was even more wrapped with his post race comments. I thought he was really assertive and really honest in his opinion and feedback. When some jockeys can just tell you what you want to hear. I felt like he did make an extra effort to be as honest and blunt as possible. I think he thought that the horse is probably suited to a higher distance than the mile at weight for age. Just kind of his comments were that when they quicken over the mile, he can take a little bit of time to get up into his gears, and he kind of just spins his wheels a little bit when they change up the speed and bring the tempo on really quickly like they do. And then when he kind of gets through his gears, he can really flatten out. So I think Ben's comments were that, the 1800 metre Underwood would be the logical next step for him. And I thought he was really assertive in his opinion about maybe the 2-rack at the mile not really suiting. So I was really happy with that. Not really sure what the answer is for the rest of the prep, but I think those are the comments that you want. Try and save yourself a start, go into a 2-rack and maybe not competing or not being competitive. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be competitive, but, it's good to get that feedback from the jockey because he's the one who's riding horses every day of his life and knows what they feel like. So, I was over the moon with that. So all in all, really positive. We picked up $90,000 worth of prize money. That'll be about $1,200 for my 1.5%. I think he'll be really rock hard in the market in an Underwood Stakes if he can get a run. I think you kind of that race kind of profiles as some of the horses that were already in our race, that we've beaten home, stepping up to 1800. And I think if you go back and watch the replay, our horse is probably the one who's savaging the line the most and the one you'd be putting your money on from that field in stepping up in the 1800. And then you also might pick up some Caulfield Cup type horses that are kicking off their preparation, might not be screwed down. So I think the Underwood 1800 metres Group 1 is a really winnable race for him. So I think that it'll be really hard in the market. It's really exciting, and hopefully, that's our chance to knock off his Group 1 if he's ever going to win one. So wish him luck. Make sure you have a bet in the futures market, and I'll be back with our next race preview.